Oh, hello. Hello, good evening. Welcome to this first ever build along. Now, before I get myself too enthused into all this, just please let me know in the chat that you can hear my voice all right. That would be a really good start before I get stuck into anything. So I'm just going to make myself comfortable. Let me know that you can hear me. And then we'll give this a go, yeah? We'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. There he is. Yeah, I know. I know. What are we all doing here? Oh, I don't know. Hello, people. So yeah, let me know that you can hear my voice first before I get too excited about this. You can hear me. Says Canatees. Great. Yes, you can hear me. Great. Okay. Excellent. No waffle. Have you been here before? Right, well, okay, so welcome to Molten Modular DIY. This is the build along of the Frequency Central, is it? Yeah, Frequency Central Stasis Leak. It is hopefully a relatively straightforward project, relatively straightforward build to build ourselves an effects unit. I mean, that's got to be good, isn't it? Bit of delay, bit of chorus, bit of reverb. At least that's what I understand. Oh, let me take off our starting shortly, because we no longer are starting shortly. We are now kind of starting. So let me do that. So that's the plan. There's no real plan for anything else. I'm just going to have to crack on with it. Now, I would like to say that I did build something else today. I spent the morning building this fantastic thing. This is the sample slicer from Ginkgo Synths. Ginkgo Synths. I don't know, something like that. And it's a kit I've had for a couple of years, knocking around. I haven't got around to building it, and now I finally have. And it doesn't quite work. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I've had a relatively charmed DIY experience so far, in that everything that I've built has worked. Some things required a little bit of resoldering or jiggering or tweaking, but generally speaking, you know, it's worked every time. This one hasn't. Now, it may yet still do. I mean, the trouble is with the clock. The clock doesn't seem to be working properly. And so it's all kind of out of sync with itself. And so the speed knob doesn't work because that's a clock divider. Everything else seemed to work fine. So it's kind of almost nearly there. I just didn't quite get it. Now, the reason that I'm bringing this up, other than to say, hey, look what I did and it didn't work yet, is that that's a reality of Eurorack DIY. There's every possibility of any sort of DIY that it's not going to work. And you might have spent 100 quid on something and you get nothing out the other end. And that's a risk. It's a worry. As I say, my experience with having built, I don't know, a dozen or so kits now is that more often than not, they work out fine. But they may not. That is a factor. It is a factor. But all we can do, I think, as enthusiasts, is to give it a go, is to give it a build, see what happens, really. And also, I mean, if there's no joy for you in the building and the soldering and the working these things out, well, then there's no point in being here. It has to be, you know, the end result, the final module, is only the icing on the cake. It's the bonus. It's the awesome thing at the end of the journey. But the journey itself is there to be relished and enjoyed. That's what I firmly believe about that. And that's why I'm doing this sort of thing. So there you go. Is that a cautionary tale? No. It's just a little injection of reality. And this fella, I will endeavour to get working properly so I can do a good demo of it. I've already done the build video, of course, but I can't finish it because it's not completely working. But this fella here, I mean, this is 2 PCBs, that kind of size sort of thing. It took me, I think 2 to 3 hours in the end, 2.5 hours maybe. So that's a good sign, because this, the stasis leak, is only these 2 fellas here. So, do you reckon we can do it in an hour? Possibly if I stop talking. The other thing is, of course, we're going to be building it in real time, so there'll be no interludes, there'll be no music piped in as I go into sort of time-lapse mode. No, we're just kind of gonna have to do it. So before we kick off then, oh, crash. Just going to make sure that I'm getting myself a little bit comfortable. I'm not sure that I am yet. Oh, have I put this back down again? No, I'm up at full height. Okay, good. This was another thought I had today, because as I was editing the video of me soldering, I noticed how hunched I become, particularly when I'm wearing my goggles in order to see things, and that can't be good. So I've been thinking about the reasons why people have those little vices to hold PCBs in, and I guess part of that is so that you can sit up. I can be more upright. I don't have to lean down like this. I can look at things at a bit more eye level and solder directly to it. Maybe that's the reason why people have those things. You know, other than just holding things a little bit more steady than this and a piece of plastic that I usually lean upon. So that has got me thinking, you know, because it's not particularly a comfortable position for spending hours in, and I have been this week already. So that's my build up. I've got my soldering iron on. I've given it a bit of a clean. I've got just about some dampness in my sponge. I've got my front panel, not going to need that for a bit. I've got 2 PCBs, I've got a bunch of stuff and a bag of bits. And I think we're going to be ready to go. I imagine I'm going to be using the top-down camera quite a lot for this. So let me know if anything's out of focus. No, I'm not going to be putting any mood music on, we're just going to be going as we are. You put your own music on in your own background, because to put music on is too much of a faff and I have enough to think about, frankly. So yeah, you do your own thing. Maybe some Wham. Yeah, no, anything that's going to give me a strike on copyright is not good. So Wishbone, hi, how you doing? Great, Andrew, good to see you. Ken, good to be here. Andrew, Tobias, Ian, Pete, Barney, Frank, God bless you. Good to see you all. And just a reminder that as far as the chat goes, you're always welcome to chat and to ask questions. I won't always see your questions. You know, I do my best, but I won't always get around to everybody's question if you have one. But we'll just do our best, yeah? And if I miss your question, it's not a personal insult. If I'm personally insulting to you, it's not really a personal insult. I'm just messing about, you know? So, with that in mind, let's begin. Let us begin. Now, it didn't come with any build document. There is one online that I'm going to be using. So that's the plan. I've never done a frequency central kit before. So we're just going to have to see how it goes. So I'm not going to be looking at the chat. I'm going to be looking at my build document, which is here online at frequencycentral.co.uk. It is the Stasis Leak chorus tap delay and plate reverb. So apparently it's a 48 kHz DSP effects model, providing a choice of stereo chorus, stereo plate reverb, tap tempo delay. It's based around the Molten ABFX subboard, which is in turn based around a Cool Audio V1000 chip. There we go. Far more detail than you'd ever really want. Now there's this whole business about something called the dry lift. I'm going to largely ignore that because I don't really know what they're talking about, but it seems to be this thing here. Now what I need to do, first of all, is change the camera angle so that you can see all of this. Let's make sure that's gone over there. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to be doing everything under this here camera here, and I'll be trying to make sure that that's in shot, that you can see it. Must remember that everything is upside down for you. There we go. So we have these two things here. What I first of all have noticed is that all of the value of the resistors is written on the PCB itself, as opposed to just numbered resistors like R1, R2, and then you refer to another document. All the actual values are on the PCB itself. Interesting. I've never done that before, never dealt with one like that before. So that's, and consequently all of the resistors are actually numbered up. All the packets have the numbers on, which again is good. So this is going to be, hopefully, as long as I can keep track of everything, that's going to be relatively simple. So I think I've put it off enough. Let me bring me thing up. Have a look. Okay, bill of materials, not interested in that. See, this is dry lift thing. So it's a 3-pin header on the board here. Dry lift. There. So that you can decide if you want the dry signal to appear at the output or just the wet signal. Okay. It doesn't tell you what you do to that. It's got on a picture, it's like got normal mode, black stuff there, dry lift mode, black stuff there. Presumably there's a jumper onto that, which I solder at some point. I don't know, it hasn't really said. So that bit's boggling my mind at the moment, but I'm just going to move on. Move on, I am. So it doesn't tell you a whole lot. It gives you a nice picture of how it looks when it's finished. But all it really says is that you take this, which is the main PCB. See this one? The one with the chunk out of it? This appears to be the main one. Whereas this other one is the one that has all the front panel bits and pieces on it, yeah? All the plugs, sockets and knobs. So this is the main PCB that we're dealing with first. And it says you populate it as shown on the silk screen, starting with the lowest profile components. Good, good, like that. Like that. So resistors, diodes, then IC sockets. Then capacitors, transistors, trimmers. Don't cut off the middle leg, we'll get to that in a bit. Dry lift 3-pin header. Aha! So that's good. Yeah, okay. Power header, capacitors, trimmer. Right. So do I physically start with the top of the board and work our way down? Is that what we're going to do? Don't know. Could do that. Could do that. Well, let's start with resistors and get everything else out of the way. Let's try to clear my space a little bit. Not by much. So resistors, 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 LEDs. There's some diodes there, I'll come to that in a minute. Resistors. Okay. Cool. Now I appreciate these might be upside down to you, but they're the right way up to me. Right. So, yeah, let's start at the top. Let's just go down. Should we do that? Let's do that. So a 4K7. 4K7 is in this bag here. Which one is it? It's probably the one by itself. Because that's 4 and that's 7. So the 4K7 has to be the one by itself. Now if I look at the online document, you can zoom into the image. And so that shows me that it should be, it's different to this one. Or is it? Oh, I don't know. I don't think that's going to do me any good. I was hoping that the banding, the colours would absolutely match what's on the screen, but it doesn't appear to. That's a shame. Where's the 20K? And the other thing that's happened is my bag has just blown away because of my bleeding fan. Cool, right, talk about a waffle trying to get something started. Right. I think I just have to do it as methodically as I can. You know, there's an enormous amount of pressure with you lot watching. You've got no idea. I need to just fiddle around in the shed doing my own thing. So there's 4K7, 4K7, that's what that has to be. That can only go there. This is the only one it can be. Let's just go with it. Look at that. Now I wonder if you, as such, let me go back to the comments because I don't need to look at the document at the moment, whether you have any particular feelings on which way round you put in resistors. I mean, if I'm doing a row of resistors, I tend to try to line them up nicely along here if I can. So I would tend to put you know, I'd tend to put the gold bit or the other band. Oh, I don't know. Just get on with it, mate. So, okay, 20k is the next one. I've got 2 of those, and this bag has 5 20ks and 3 100ks. So the 5 must be the 20ks. So it must be the brown, red, black, black, brown, or is it brown, black, black, red, brown? Does anybody know which way around these things go? I don't know. I just read them off as I go. So I'm going to assume that that's a 20. I'm just going to make sure, I'm just going to not make sure of anything. I'm just going to go with what it is that is evident within the bag. I'm not going to try to measure it with my multimeter. I'm not going to look it up on the internet. I'm just going to assume that it is absolutely as it should be. And if anybody else can spot any resistors which are not right, do let me know. Do let me know. So I'm going to put this one round that way, 20k. Yeah, don't get fooled by the blue bins on the wall. I said this the other night. The blue bins are an illusion. They are full of crap. They have nothing in there except crap. Why don't I do that? Why don't I just bring a little bit of me in as well, so I can talk to camera from occasion to occasion. That might be nice. So I put a 20k in there. I need 2 of those. Do it bag for bag? Well, maybe, but I'm just working my way down the PCB. I think there's different ways of doing it. So that's 2 of those 20k's in there. See, I might need to get a pair of pliers because these are quite wide as well. I've been very used to quite narrow spaces between resistors because I've just finished doing a Bafaco build. Of course. So now I need the 82. You see, I'm starting to see what you mean about using just one bag at a time. Maybe that's better. Maybe I should switch to doing that. See, there's a pro tip there. So only open one bag of resistors at a time. Oh, okay. I'm being swayed. I'm being swayed by the crowd. Is that what you're saying? You reckon that I should do that? All right. Well, I'm going to carry on with this bag over here. So I've already opened 2 bags. That bag can stay there. I'm going to do this bag, right? So I've already snuck in the 4K7 at the top. I've now done 2 20Ks, and I don't know which one is which now. Oh my lord, this is going to be a disaster because I'm too distracted. I'm not usually talking to myself the entire time. So why don't I do the rest of the 20s? Now this is 2 20s here, so it must be that lot. So, yeah, no, I always get impressed by people in their rows of blue bins. I've had this on the wall for like 15 years, and there's nothing of any use into it. There's nothing of any use in any of those blue bins. I do refer to them from time to time, but it's not in a method of organisation. It's in a way of panic and trying to find something. Anyway, 20k I got in here. So when I find another 20k, there's another 20k. Further down. Let me know whether having both cameras on is getting in the way or not. Red, brown, red. No, red. That's not that at all. No. Red, brown, red. No. What? Red, brown, orange. No, what are you talking about? Look, I'm putting in 20k's, right? These 20k's. I've got red, black, black, red, and then a brown, which I'm assuming is the tolerance, yeah? Is that how I understand it? Let me bring this back in. And the reason that I know it's 20k is because I opened the bag that had 20k times 5, and it was the one that had 5 of them. Oh, well, I don't know. Alright, I'm just going with it. So 20k, I'm going on with that. This is going to be a disaster. Yeah, why don't I think this through? I mean, live. mean, the great thing about editing videos, making videos, is that you get all that space and time to take out all the crap, you know, all the crap you were talking, all the rubbish. Red, black, black, red, if okay. Yeah. That's what I said, wasn't it? Oh, I don't know. Don't listen to the man. So this is soldering by committee. That's really what we're looking at, isn't it? So where do I want to be? I want to be here so you can see better. There's where I want to be. Alright, so I'm trying to find another 20k. There's another one. 20k there. God dear. See, the problem with them being that little bit wider is they don't go down particularly neatly. I like them to go down quite neatly. I guess because at this point I should be using that special tool in order to bend them, which is what I'm not doing. Yes, thank you, Frank. What am I doing? 20k, 20k, right, down here, 20k. There's another 20k. Right, then I've got 3 100Ks. For the 100Ks, I've got brown, black, black, orange. 100K, there's one. That went in nicer. Ooh! It's alright, I know what this lot is. $100K. There's another one. $100K towards the bottom. So there's a bunch of resistors in. That's one bag plus one. Why don't we, at this point, solder these together? Should we solder them in? Yeah. Now, I'm using my... Let's go back to this for a second. I'm using my... These are one of the most useful things I've come, because my eyes are really starting to go. This has become very useful. I've got 2 levels of magnification. I've got another flat bit that can come down to give me deeper magnification. It just means that I end up a little bit hunched over, trying to get the right focus position. But it does make things a lot easier. It does make things a lot easier. So there we go. You just end up looking silly. But that's okay. So, soldering iron then, everybody. Soldering iron and some solder. Put your safety specs on, or your magnifying glass, or whatever it is that you're using to protect your eyeballs, and we're just going to solder all the way down this thing. I've got too much reflection in the thing. Right, get on with it. Push the solder in, release the solder, release the soldering iron. That's it. You can do all the legs down one side if you like, or you can do it resistor by resistor. Just enough to give it a nice little hump. other side. Clean the ends. Cool, that looks alright to me. Now I remember the first kit I ever built. It never ever said when to snip the legs, and so I didn't. So I ended up with almost the whole kit done with just legs everywhere because I was too scared to snip any legs in case I needed to undo it again. But in case you're wondering, you can do it anytime you like. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if you have to repair something, it's a pain in the arse whichever way you do it. Whoop, goes over there. So leaving the legs on is of no real advantage, even if something does go wrong. Well, it is, but not enough of one, I don't suppose. Oh, I don't know. Nice, showering myself in sticks of metal. So how is yours going? Is yours looking as sweet and fabulous as mine? Let's hope so, eh? Okay, so opening up the next box. Next bag. The one I opened before that had the one 4K7 in it. This bag here. So I'm going to go for this bag. So I'm going to put in the 4 3K9s, which is this bunch here. 3K9s. These are orange, pink. Could be a pink. I don't know. Orange, pink, black, red, brown. No, orange. It's got an orange at the front anyway, I know that much. So we're going to look for 3K9s down here. Should be 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, right, easy. Just do it. Right, everyone keeps talking about multimeters. You want me to measure them with a multimeter? We could do that if you like. Is that fun? Should we do that? Right, okay. So I put a 3K9 in. I do have a multimeter over here, and you need one actually for calibration on this particular one, which is something that would have been nice to have known beforehand. So let's stick that down. Let's get me out of the way. Stick that there. All right, I'll put it sort of sideways so we can both see it. Right. Okay. So, out of the way. So we are going to attempt to test a resistor, right? So my understanding is, now I'm not an expert, as I say, I'm just a fiddler. So if I stick it round to ohms, because that's like resistance, yeah? And then if I stick my resistor between the two crocs, like that. Is that what I should be doing? Now that gives me 3.88K, and this is supposed to be a, what was it, a 3.9? Yeah, 3K9. So is that a success? Is that what you're trying to get me there to do? Yeah, I mean, if it's a big build, like for instance, when I was doing my Descartes Dream, as you'll see on Saturday, if you stay with me for that, I have lots of spreadsheets, lots of checking off. Something like this, you've just got half a dozen bags of resistors. I think a spreadsheet is kind of overkill in this particular situation. Use the bomb as guidance. Yeah, there's not much of a bomb. This is a small kit. Yeah. Bills of material often, I think, it can be a bit scary. Just give me a list, which I guess is what that is. Anyway, so there we go. I measured a resistor. Is that okay? Does that make you happy? Good, good, good. Now what was I doing? I was putting in 3 9Ks, 3K9s, 3K9s. Alright, there's another one. Oh, I want it round the right way. Because you've got to make sure you get your resistors round the right way for reasons of aesthetics. Because if you put them in the wrong way, it just won't look quite as pretty. And that'll have a detrimental effect on your creativity. Unless, of course, chaos is what you're trying to embrace, in which case, you know, fine, fine, if you're an artist of noise. Right, is that my 9s in? 3K9s in. Next we have this merry bunch of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are brown, black, black, reds. 10Ks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only got 4. 5, 6, 7. Oh, look, there's 3 on the other board. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thought it? Andrew, what have you won a fiver on? What did you bet on? Blooming cheek. 10K. 10K. So 10K's down here. Which way around am I going to go? Going to go that way. Consistency. And in case you're not seeing me do this, I'm bending the legs out underneath. Okay? Which makes them slightly trickier to solder, but stops them falling out when you turn the board over. Yeah? But, I mean, I get the feeling that all the people watching, at least certainly in the comments, are all bleeding experts. So, you know, it's like sort of going to a circus, watching a monkey messing about. Your evening's entertainment. It's this idiot trying to put resistors into things. 10K down there. I am all about the caution. Andrew, I am all caution. That's me. Through and through. Risk adverse. I never do anything without tons and tons of planning. I have actually already built 4 of these kits before this evening just to try it out. No, I haven't. I haven't in the slightest. Right, so that's a bunch of those. These 3 here are on the other board. 10K, 10K, 10K. Does that matter? No, I don't know. I don't know. So let me, because rather than losing what these resistors are or putting them somewhere else. Oh, my light's gone off. I'll just have to change that in a moment. The voltmeter would come out. I did it under duress. I wouldn't have got it out, but you kept belly aching on about, oh, you should measure your resistors. So like, oh, you know, okay, no, it's a fair. I mean, it's a fair thing. Yes, that's something that one can do. You know, of course, one should measure one's resistors, but I'm just going to go with the fact that the kit is supposed to work. That's the whole joy of kits, is that you don't have to worry so much because all the parts are already there and should be more or less right. So well done, you talked me into it. Good job. Good job. What is this? A 10K. There's another one there. Look. Going to leave the soldering on this one for the minute until I've put a load more bits in. Just give me 1 second as I need to change a battery on a light. That's about the last thing I've got running on batteries. Everything else is pretty much plugged in these days. But just because I move that around so much. So what was I doing? I just finished that bag. So finish this bag. That's all in. Is that worth soldering? Yeah, why not? Solder these before we move on to the next thing. Time is getting on. I mean, we're 40 minutes in. Need to be a little bit further along, I think. Oh, just throwing my glasses. Oh, let's chit chat. More safety spectacles. Okay. Let's get into those. Good. Always check over as you go that you haven't sort of shorted anything out or done something about something, you know, missed a hole. Just rather than one big check at the end, just check as you go. At least that's what I do. Okay, looking good. What we get to? Got to this pack here. 150 times 3 and a 33R. 150, 150, 150. 33R is on the other board. Okay. I can't open the bag. So yeah, no beer this evening because I'm just not. I wouldn't be able to cope. There's no way that's going to work. Okay, so this is what was this? 150. Right, 150. There's one. There's another one. Need it a little bit neater than that. And then this 33 goes over on this other board. There. Yeah? You with me? You with me? My legs are all here. This is me legs bin at the moment. This is all from the sample slicer this morning. But yeah, I could make a blue bin into one of those. In fact, you know, put in your own ideas into what should go in the blue bins. Maybe we'll do a live stream of going through the bins. That sounds like fun. Right. Some 1Ks. 7 of those. Three 82s and 100. So the 1Ks, 1, 2, 2 here. On the other board, 3, 4, 5. So 7 1Ks. Oh, there's 2 extras there. Okay. $1K. Nope. 1K, 1K. Yeah, and there. And I've got 3 of these left, which are going over onto this board, I believe. 1K there. Okay, 3 82s, 1, 2, 3. My soothing sniffs, grunts, squeaks. Ah, so you kind of want this a bit more ASMR then, do you? Okay. I need a tap. So yeah, now just putting the resistors in. I think that looks rather lovely. Do you feel lovely? I think you should. This is really nice. Oh my goodness. I suddenly got money. Right, okay. I should stop that. Or maybe I should keep it going. I don't know. Anyway, so that's all the resistors in on this particular PCB here. So we can finish off the soldering on all of those. That would be good. Oh, look, there's a spare. Don't want to spare. Now this one I think goes in the other board, this board here. This is the 100R, which goes up here. Good, right, good find. Let's sweep that off the table. Come to that one in a minute. So let's get the rest of these resistors in. Nice, 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 nice. Oops. So thanks very much, Unit. Unit E, is that? Is that like Unit from Doctor Who? But that's very, very kind of you. Much appreciated. That'll get me another ream of solder. Oops, that went all over the iron. All over the iron. Come on. That looks alright to me. How's yours going? Anyone at home following along? Are you like well down the list now? Further than I am, probably. But let us know. Are you? Is that good? I mean, you've got all the resistors on. How are you doing? Are you at the same stage, or are you somewhere else? Frank says real men never clean the flux off. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know what a real man is, but no, I never clean the flux off. I think it's part of the charm. It makes it look homemade. You know, if I was selling these things to people, then perhaps, you know, that would be a thing. Or if I'm restoring old equipment, definitely things like that need a clean. But I'm not planning on being around for another 100 years. Make sure. In case it corrodes away because of flux. Well, it looks all right. I mean, it's not too bad. Because of the width of the holes for the resistor, it means they get a little bit uneven. It's not quite as gorgeous. You should have seen the sample slicer. That was just a huge run of resistors. Looked just beautiful. So that's that one for the moment. Just going to do the resistors on here. So there's only a handful, but they're just as important, obviously. Stupid thing to say. Come on, full of stupid things to say today. You're doing the Super 16 sequencer. Sean, how have you got a Super 16 sequencer? I'm down for a Super 16 sequencer. I haven't got one. I didn't think you'd finished it yet. What was the last update you had from Kickstarter? Have you got some kind of secret inside thing going on? That's not fair. Although, you know, if you're good, I might tell you about some things that I got in today. If you ask nicely enough. couple of unexpected arrivals, which are always appreciated. The thing is with the Super 16, I can't remember whether I went for the kit or the built. Thinking about it. So maybe that's why you've got one. If you've got the kit version. What's happening here? Maybe those have gone out already and he's still building the built ones. Kickstarter kit arrived this week. Well, maybe that was it. It was a funny one, the Sweet 16, if that's what it's called. Yeah. In that I had no real intention of backing it, but I'd reported on it for Gear News and was watching it go through the pains of not quite reaching its goal. So like when it had like 20 minutes left or something, I thought, sod it. So I sent out a news thing about it and spread it around the place, all that kind of stuff. And it still wasn't going to make it. Still wasn't going to make it. It was painful. And I'm thinking, oh, what a shame. This looks like a really good sequencer. It's really kind of, yeah, no, I'm into it. Oh, I'm into what he's doing. And so I thought, oh, sod it. So I bought one. And then a couple other people did, and it went nicely over the goal. So, yeah, I've got this Sweet 16 sequencer coming that I really hadn't planned on buying at all. So yeah. Right, so I was completely doing that on autopilot, not really watching what I was doing. I'm assuming that's all good. I'm going to pick up a few of these legs, throw them away. So that is all the resistors on those two things there. Good. Right, little bags, they can go. I mean, obviously the bags could go into a blue bin. I've got lots of bags in blue bins. That seems to be where they end up. No bad thing. No bad thing necessarily. What are we doing now? Come on, keep it together. It was going well there for a minute. Right, back onto the overhead camera. Did that one. Get that out of the way. What did the man say? He said resistors, diodes, and then IC sockets. Right, diodes. So that looks like diodes. That look like diodes to you? IN4148s. That's kind of all we got. After that, it's just capacitors. ICs. Do I have IC holders? Maybe they're going to be in the bag. Yeah, probably in the bag a bit. So we're going to do these diodes. Now, where are these? There seems to be one here. Two there. Is that it? Right, back to the bomb. Da-ba-da, ba-ba-da-ba-da. Bit of materials. It's not a great bit of materials, I have to say. I don't know. What do they call them? Well, there's three of them, yeah. A 1N4148 times 3, yes. So 2 diodes there, yeah, okay, picture. So a picture is usually very, very useful, and there's a picture of the main PCB and that one, and they both have the diodes on the picture. So even though they're not called diodes in the instructions or on the packet, you're going to have to know that it is these, the 1N4148. That's a diode. You can tell they're a diode because of the sort of material it is, I guess, and the fact that it's got a stripe on it. Get it out of the bag, maybe you can see that easier. Now these are one of the sort of things that kind of annoys me a little bit. I mean, not desperately, but I'm trying to comment on something. When it comes to a kit, particularly a relatively simple kit, perhaps, a lot of assumptions are made by the manufacturers of the kits. The assumption is that the person building the kit knows what all these things are and what they do, to some level or degree, and that's not an unfair assumption. But if you're wanting to appeal to beginners, you just need to give a bit more information. Now, the photograph on the build document is brilliant. That's a really good thing to always supply something like that. But the bill of materials doesn't give you a description, it just gives you a part number. And that's not really good enough, I don't think. I think there should be a bit more information. Ideally, a picture, a bit more information, because on the board it doesn't say the whatever number it is, the IN 1N4148. You just got a picture of a diode. So how do you know that refers to this? How do you know? You can make the assumption because there's only 3 of these and only 3 diode bits, assuming you know what the symbol to a diode is. Do you see what I'm getting at? I'm just trying to bust people's balls a little bit about giving enough information. There's some information, there's enough for me to get by, but is there enough for everyone trying to do this kind of thing? Is there enough information to get by? And why not just give us a bit more? In the bill of materials, it doesn't have to be a part number. It could be a part number with just a description saying diode, things like that I think would be useful. So here is my diode, and these are my places. Now what you need to do is note where the black line is on this diode. It's not always a black line, they could be different colours, but it's the line. At one end it says this is the line, and the line matches the line on the PCB. You see that diode? It's got like an arrow with a line across it. Because a diode just lets stuff flow in one direction. It goes in the direction of the arrow, doesn't go back the other way. In order for that to work, this has to be the right way round. So that black stripe is going to be in the same position as the line across the front of the arrow. Yeah, that's what we're trying to achieve. A component of DIY is learning. Yes, no, I appreciate that. Yes, it is. And it's a conundrum, it's a paradox, it's a double-edged thing, because the easier that you make it to build kits, the less you're going to learn, you could argue. And certainly I've learnt very little about circuit design in putting together these kits. Very, very little. Because I'm just following instructions, a bit like painting by numbers. And that's going to become very self-evident when we look at the Cosmo stuff on Thursday. So that's gone in. Do you see the black bit there is with that stripe there? Yeah. And part of learning to be a manufacturer of DIY kits is learning how to write a manual, learning how to provide decent information for people who don't have your level of experience. I would say that's also something worth learning. Cathode, thank you somebody. Yeah, that's great. So the other one is between these 2 resistors on the front panel board. Again, you see the way the arrow's going? That line needs to match up with the line on the diode itself, so in which case I need to turn that over like that. Do you see? Oops, that goes in. Nerds for nerds. Yeah, maybe. But I mean, part of my mission is to expand the what's the word? It's to go beyond nerds, man. We need to get beyond the nerd. I think it's unfair that the world should be denied the experience of building modules because you're not quite nerdy enough. Oh, that's a shame. You want, you know, hip and cool people building these because I think they'd enjoy themselves. Anybody could do it. You don't have to be nerdy about it. It just needs to be... somebody's asking me a weird question. What? Yeah, photos are really helpful to bias. I would absolutely, positively agree. So I'm just soldering these in like we did before. Nothing different. Nothing weird. I learned something today about square pads. You know, as I was soldering the sample slicer, he said something along the lines of the square pad is pin 1. I probably knew that somewhere, but to me it seemed like a revelation. Really? That's interesting. Not that I thought they were random, I just hadn't really considered it before. Okay, so that's simple. So that's the diodes in. 2 there, facing that way. 1 in there, facing up, down, up, I think. Right, get these legs off. Then we can have a look, I think, at the IC holders. Ow, hit me in the side of... Ow, right in the safety specs. Good, 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 good. What would be really nice at this sort of point is for someone to bring me a coffee, but that just ain't going to happen. All I can hope is that the kids stay asleep because I'm the only one here at the moment and I'm in the shed. Good, right, what are we doing? So we're not doing the capacitors yet because they are too tall. We are doing the IC holders. Those are to be found in this bag of mechs. So I'm just going to dump this, see what happens. Now these apparently are, well, they're offensive to start with, but then they're tricky and difficult. We'll come to that in a bit. There's something, some washers, some knobs, power cable, what's it? Bunch of pots. Oh, there's a trimmer, there's a thing. What am I looking for? I am looking for the IC holders, of which there should be 2. These 2 here. Cool. So back onto the main board, this one here. Here and here. Now these are pretty simple. You've got 2 for 2 sockets. You see the little nick, the little half circle that's taken out of that front bit, that needs to match up with the half circle that's on the silk screen that's printed on here. And look, there's that square pad which is pin 1. Look at that, it's there again, look, isn't that magic? How awesome. So that goes in there. So if you did, right, if you were using a vise at this point, how would you solder these? Because my way of doing it is to put a piece of plastic on the top, turn it upside down, and then solder. But if you had it held in a vise like this, how would you get to solder underneath without it falling out? There you go, that's a question for you. So in the meantime, I'm going to put those in there, like that. Like that, IC holders, they're in. I'm going to get a piece of plastic like this, just a piece of plastic. It could be a piece of cardboard, could be anything you like. Got to hold that over the top. Masking tape, says Ian. I suppose so, but that seems like a major faff. I mean, all this business about how useful the vices are, and then it comes down to masking tape. I suppose so. Just I don't know you get enough purchase on that. Mind control, yeah, that sounds a bit more like it. Turn them over and tack a leg. See, because what I've got now I've got it sat down, you see it's on a wonk? See it's on a wonk? Yeah, see it's on a wonk. So if I solder it now, I'll end up soldering this side of the IC kind of tall and that side low, and so it will be on a wonk when I turn it back over. So I have to make sure that it's flat when I solder it. Now I can do that by holding it, obviously, or I might just slip something underneath if it's the right sort of size, just to mitigate it. There you go, see, that's not too bad. Sort of. Oh no, I've just made it more unstable. Awesome, awesome. So I'm just going to make sure that when I solder it, I'm going to hold it down, or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do that. Oh, I don't bloody know. What's important is that you just do it all right completely, and that you follow everyone's advice at all times. So I'm going to hold that down. See, that's nice and flat now. It's steady, it's not going anywhere. I've got my chopsticks kind of fingers here that I can just put some solder onto that pin, take the soldering iron away while still holding it, and that's going to be good. I'm going to do the same with pin 1 over here. Going to do cross kind of opposites. Oops. Just getting some in there. Good. Take that away, take that away. And that particular one is now going to be lovely and straight and flat. Look, see, perfect. Perfectly done. Put the other one back in. See if I can get away with just turning it over without having to... No, I'm not. Can I? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Right, so same with the other one. Pushing down with a soldering iron, pushing down with my finger a little bit. Soldering iron there. Put solder on it, take the solder away, hold it down while I take off the soldering iron, and that's going to be good. Over here, same again. Hold it, steady it, solder it. Good. That one is also flat. I think it's flat. I'm going with flat on that. So now I mustn't forget to then go back and do all the other bits. All the other sticky out bits. A bit more on that one, I think. Good. I'm just going to give that a look with my magnifiers. Sure I didn't miss anything. No. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Right. What happens next? Anybody? Oh, look. Frequency Central is here. Is that, who's the guy? It's the guy on the back of here. Is that Rick? Because you're like, your name's on the back of here. Look, there, Rick Holt. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, nice. Well, good to have you here. Yeah, I'm just messing this up at the moment. I appreciate there are links on the bottom to the components and stuff. I'm just, I'm not trying to let it take us in too deeply. So back to the build doc. Non-electrolytic capacitors, transistors and trimmers. Don't cut off the middle leg. Somebody warned me about that. So from here, that looks like a trimmer. That looks like a trimmer. Is there just one of those? Yeah. Transistors. Is that in this bag, do we think? Let's have a look. Bum, 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 defeated by a bag. Ooh. Right, that's that lot. So this thing here is a TLO84 transistor. Potentially. Or maybe no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, what am I talking about? Okay, let me get my glasses on. So you got to let me work it out. No clues. So this is a 78L09. Okay. This one. It's a BC547. Also known as an N. Right, if I go back to the build doc. Ba 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 ba. See again, and Rick, I was saying this earlier, that in your bill of materials there's just something that slightly frustrates me is there's no description of what anything is. So I already sort of moaned a bit about the diodes, in as much as, you know, the diodes are 1N4148, but it would be enormously helpful if you listed the 1N4148 and next to it wrote diode, just to connect all of these points together. The fact that you talk about soldering the diodes in now, but which ones are the diodes? I mean, obviously I'm supposed to know already, but why would I know already? Oh, because, you know, there's supposed to be a certain level to entry, and yet, you know, I'm a person who likes to mess about with those levels of entry, rather. Anyway, so when it comes to these transistors, they're not the TLL08s, because, you know, I took the T, see the T, see there's a T on there, there's two transistors and there's a T there, so I automatically, my brain went, oh, that must be the transistors, when of course it's not, it's those are those. Those are those. Whereas the transistors are two different things. These two different things. Is that easy? I don't think so. I don't think it is. So what happens when I press on these links then? What is it? Oh, one of them is... No, I don't know. Sorry, stop talking. Okay, so when I click on the link on your build document, it takes me to exactly what it is on Tader Electronics. Not come across Tader Electronics before, but that's very cool. They have 153,000 of these in stock. So that's very useful. Okay, good. So a good rewind on that then, to say that on the bill of materials there are links to the online document, and they do take you to a better description of what it's all about. That's very, very helpful. Very, very helpful. Right, now, I've got to work out what I'm doing again. Okay, focus. Focus in. Focus in. Trying to put these transistors somewhere. So there's one here. That's the N. The other one? I have no idea. Oh, there. There. Okay, cool. There. Right. Well, your eyesight's better than mine, clearly. Clearly. So this one here. No. This one here. This one. Right, so I'm going to put in the 78L09. 78L09. Now the orientation of these fellas is important. But that is dictated by the wonderful screen printing, which gives us the shape of this as that goes in, yeah? Just to get rid of myself off the screen again. So that should go in there. That way round. Beautiful. Put it down nice and flat. Going to bend it out a little bit. Good. What else am I putting in? Well, the other one, but that's on the other board. Alright, well maybe let's just get rid of this. Get this one done while we're at it. What happened to all my bits of foam? Seem to have lost them. Anyway. Right, that's in. Good. What was it doing? So, transistors. I'll do the other one in a second. Oh yeah, non-electrolytic capacitors. Do that in a second. Trimmer. But the trimmer's really tall. I'll leave that for the minute. So let me put that other transistor in here before I lose it. So the second transistor, which is the BC547, that goes in to this bit here marked N. Maybe they ran out of ink or something, just couldn't fit it in. I don't know, who knows. But anyway, so the orientation is the same. You need to use the shape of the screen print to inform you on which way around it goes in, like so, yeah? I mean, no, I don't know that you could push it in flush. No, just have to go like that. Right, solder that one in quick. Yeah, cool beans. Gee whiz, we've been at this. It's an hour 20 already. Good Lord, this is going to take all week. Right. So the non-electrolytic capacitors, what that means is the ones that don't have an orientation. So it tends to mean the sort of squidgy, blobby orange ones, not not the ones that look like capacitors. That looks like a capacitor. Not those ones, right? It will be the other ones. It will be the orangey ones, of which there are 471s. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be those. There's also a yellow box thing. 2 big fat things and some smaller ones. Right, got it? Good. High tech. Definitely. That over there. So these orange ones, these don't go on that board at all. They go on this board. And they thread themselves, I think, between the resistors. So these are 470 picofarads. Now if you look on the quite closely at the board, the writing in there has just kind of been stamped out by the holes that this goes into. But that says 470, that says 470, so do those two. So all four of them go here. The picture is really very, very helpful with this because it shows you exactly where they go. Doesn't matter which way around, just pop them in. Gosh, that's surprisingly fiddly. I think I've lost all feeling in my fingers. Come on. Oh, for crying out loud. Let's sort it out. There we go. Let's do those bits while we're at it, because as things start to get different heights, it gets more difficult to turn the board over to solder. Yeah, looks alright. Cut those legs off. Great. So it wants us to put the white one in and the trimmer. Offset. Yellow box 1 times 100N. Okay. So this one, the white one, at least the white one in my kit, appears to be the black one on the picture. But I know you can't see the picture. Let me just bring the picture in. Is that helpful? See, there seems to be something here. Something here, you see that? Which is black. Now on the screen print, ow, oh dear. On the screen print, it says 100 nanofarads. On here, the yellow box is 100N, which I assume is nanofarads. This is the whitish yellowish box, which is black in the picture. Got it? Are we confused yet? So I believe this goes in here. That's what I'm going with, even though it says on the top it's a 1K63. See, it's easy, this stuff. It's all so consistent. It's all just perfect the entire time. There's never any possibility anything going wrong. Oh my lord. So yeah, that's great. I'm just gonna freaking solder it in. Right. Is that going to be a problem next to the thing it's going to be next to? No, I don't think so. I'll worry about that in a minute. Although they could go in together, couldn't they? Maybe that's a good idea. Because the power header goes in right next to it. And if I solder it at a wonk, then that's not going to help, is it? But then if I solder it with this on, that's too tall and that's going to fall out. Could use tape. People mention tape. Could be a thing. What should I do? Okay, I'm just going to put this down. Solder it and hope that I don't wobble it too much. It's a plan. Going with it. It's getting too late to spend too much time discussing things in a committee. Okay, don't worry about the pegs for the minute. Yeah, that went in all right. Now the trimmer, which is this blue thing, that goes in here where it says offset 100k, so presumably this is a 100k variable. What's it? I don't know, it doesn't say anything of the sort on it. But according to the picture, it goes about there. So let's stick that in there, shall we? Now, is that taller than the other capacitors? Yeah, I think it is. So I'm not going to do that quite yet. Right. That was in. So it wants me... Oh, right. Well, I don't understand that then. Okay, so the instructions say put the trimmers in when you do the capacitors, but then it says put the trimmer in later. So I don't know what that means. So I'm just going to go with height, yeah? So in that case, I need to put these in next. Definitely. So these are 5, 10 microfarads, and these have to be going around the right way. So the long leg is positive, and you've got a negative written on the side here, and you've got to be able to see that on the board where it says positive. Positive is next to the square pin, the round pin is going to be negative. All of these things are there to help us, and all of them together combined tend to mean that we get it right. At least that's what I find. Sorry, I've been ignoring the chat. Cut the middle leg? No, don't cut the middle leg. Okay, so these are all... let's make sure we get this right. So I've got two bigger ones. The bigger ones are 47s, 47, 47. Smaller ones are 10s. That's a 10, 10, 10 there. So, bigger leg goes through there, like that. Bend that on the other side. These are all 10. Another one. Long leg positive. They all go in the same orientation on this board. They're the two bigger ones. Got two more over on this side. Probably a special way of removing capacitors and bits and pieces from those annoying bits of masking tape. I don't know what that is. So long leg positive into the square hole like that, both the same way round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Let's get them soldered. Good. Take the two little legs off that other white box, yellow box. Capacitor. Right, good. Getting through, getting past inconsistencies, working well. It's looking really good. Looking really good. So next we're either going to have, you know, the big capacitors look like they're going to be the biggest. Yeah, so I think next is going to be the power bit. Can you? I don't tend to find that. What don't I want flapping around? Tight to the board, what? Okay. Right, so this is the power plug. Very important it goes the right way round, because the cable is only going to be plugged in one way round because of this bit here that forces the cable to be one orientation. Now this is shown here on the screen print like that. It's also got a big stripe on it which says that this is where the red part of the ribbon cable will go. So if we stick this in here in the right orientation, so our cable can only plug in that way round, and that's where the red stripe is. So that's perfect. We're not going to get any magic smoke, Frank. Thank you. Magic smokes is what we get at your house. So that is going to be soldered in there. Again, I'm going to try and hold it nice and straight. I could support it with something up the other side, but I'm just going to kind of get on with it. By pressing down with the soldering iron, holding it, tacking it, giving it a second to what's the word? To melt, the opposite of melt, solidify. That's what I'm trying to say. Good, I think that's good. Oops, I'm all over the place. Good. It's in straight. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Now this trimmer, now if I remember from the picture, it's that way round. I can just go in there. If I can do it, I'm not going to cut off any of the legs. So that goes that way up. Starting to need, I think, something to lean on. Give me something to lean on, because that's getting a bit tricky. How am I going to do that? Like that. That seems right. Well, look, why don't? Well, I say I could try tape, but tape, I don't know. Is that gonna? Will that work? Might do because of the flipping nut on the top. All right, look. All right. So I'm trying a bit of everything this evening. So lots of people like the old masking tape thing. I'll give that a go. So full inept mode. What, stick that on there or something? I don't know. Stick that like that. Is that how that works? Maybe. Give it a go. Give it a go. Don't think my masking tape's very sticky. It's a bit kind of bit like that, but that should be okay. I don't believe I'm folding a sandwich of PCBs together like I was with that Perkle the other day, so that should be fine. Good. Right, okay, good. What's next? These things, these big capacitors. Again, long leg positive into the square hole. 2 of those, like so. Lovely, lovely. Can I use the tape again? No, it doesn't matter, because I can just twang the old legs and that'll keep them in. Lovely, like that. Look at that. Yeah, nice. They can have it. They can be a little bit lively on the other side. That's all right. I don't mind. Oh, getting the angle. Great. Take those legs off. Good. Power header. Electrolytic capacitors. Trimmers. Good. All good. Now I could put in the 2 little these bits, just so I don't forget about them. And then we can start on the front panel. I think that would be good. I feel like we'd accomplished this bit. Just trying to see if there's anything missing. Oh yeah, this dry lift thing. I kept talking about this dry lift. There should be something, shouldn't there? What should it be? A little 3-pin thing. With a header, presumably. No, not in there. Not in there. Should be in all the mechanicals, surely, one would have thought. See, I've got me a header there. 3-pin header. Okay. Now I do have this left over from earlier, which I could use from another kit, but unless I've dragged it off the table with my sleeves or something, which is all very possible, I don't appear to have that bit. Or maybe I'm supposed to use something left of the rest of the headers. Maybe. Would that fit in there? Yeah, it would. Okay. Right, not going to worry about that for the minute. Come back to that. If anybody else is building this kit, do they have a 3-pin header for the dry thing? Let me know. In the meantime, I'll put these in. Okay, so these are the chips that do stuff. They are both the same. TL084s. We're not here to learn about what all these things do necessarily. We're just to put the thing together. So I'm using my magic tool. Now if I didn't have my magic tool in the old days, what I would do is because the legs are a little bit too splayed to go in to your IC holder, so I would just take it and rock it slightly. Just rock it, push down, just to flatten those legs a tiny bit on both sides, and then rock down a little bit more. That's what I would do. But nowadays I have this natty tool. I can drop it in there and I can squish it like that, and that'll do all that business for me. Just genius. All you've got to do is Google IC leg straightener thingy and you'll find it. So these need to go round the same. You've got this nick on the front that goes with the little nick on the IC holder. That should go on there nicely and push down sweetly. This one the same on there. Push it together. Brilliant. So other than my little dry lift thing, that is pretty much done. Oh look, I might have found it. No, that's a 2. Is it a 2 or 3? Where's my picture gone? It's a 3. I found a 2 from something else. I broke. Put that with that. Right, okay, it's all going really well. Right, so good. Right, next. So finally, cut the 3 male header strips into the correct lengths, 11, 11 and 6. Now, this was the cause of some concern earlier on. I meant to go and look up what all the answers were, but I'm just going to have to wing it from this point, in that we have a 40 pin header thing, yeah, 40 pin thing that you have to cut into shape. And what it wanted you to cut it into, which is on here somewhere, yeah, it wanted you to cut it into 4 lengths of 13, 11, 11 and 6. Now you've got 40 pins on here, and 13, 11, 11, 6 adds up to 41. So there was a little bit of discussion, somebody pointed this out to me earlier in the week, as to why that is. Now I got an answer from Thonk, who said something about one of them doesn't need to be as long as you think it does, and then that's okay. So you just leave something off. You don't need to have all 6 of them or all 11 of them or whatever it is. And so that's where you save the one, and they're sorry that wasn't mentioned anywhere. Although Rick from Frequency Central also got back to me and said, no, don't worry, just solder this bit rather than to a header, just solder that straight to the board, and then you won't have to worry about it. Which is another answer, which I'm probably going to do that one. I think. Maybe. So in which case, what do I cut these to and what do I not cut them to? Well, interestingly, it says 2 different things. So cut the male header strips, they're the spiky, pokey ones, obviously, to 11, 11 and 6. So 11, 11 and 6 to solder onto here. Because those are the important ones for connecting the boards to each other, I'm pretty sure. And then this board in here goes in this gap here, but it goes into this board this way round. You see, there it is, that bit there. So this is going to go straight into that, poking out. Is that going to work? Well, I don't know. We're just going to have to go with it because it's now flipping 9:45. Time's getting on. So that's my plan. Did you get my plan? Don't know. Let's go back to here. So I need an 11 and a 6. Now I thought I could break these before, and I did, and then it went wrong. So I'm going to try to snip it this time. What do people say? Snipping or breaking? Don't forget to flip the board, somebody says. Yeah, what? I'll do whatever it tells me to do. Right, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Snip. Okay. Losing my mind. He did it. I did it. I did it. Did it. Did it. Did it. Did it. Did it. So they should go in there, yeah? Some way, one way up or another. So that's an 11. Doing another 11. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So right there. It's the same size. I don't have any spare. 4, 5, 6. So there. Like that, yeah? So that's spare. I've now got 2 11s and a 6. Now you can see that when you turn the board over, that the screen print is on this side, indicating the side that you want to be placing it in. So I don't want to be placing it on this side. I want to be placing it on this side and soldering it from underneath. That's what you want to do. So you stick the long pins. No, you don't. You stick the short pins through. The long pins is what's going to go into the socket bit, plug and socket. Yeah. Now this is an ideal opportunity to get lots of wobbly stuff going on. So they want to be like that. I think that's right. I'm just going to go back and reconfirm with the final picture. Yes. So I've got the component sticking out the back. This is going to go into the back of this, like so. Awesome. That's how it's going to work. So I'll use my piece of plastic over the top, turn it over, do my best to try to keep it fairly level. Here. And this little one at the back. Okay, I want to check that. I think that might have gone bad. Yeah, it did rather. Okay, so that one looks pretty straight. This one at the end here looks pretty straight. Well, it did until I put it into the camera. This one looks pretty straight. This one here, no, wonky as sin, that. So I'm just going to melt it on one end and slightly adjust it with the other, like that. No, that's all over the place. Okay, try it again. Just try not to heat up my thumb. That's the one. That's straight. Okay, cool. Good. Good. So that is that, except for this bit here. But I do have spare, so maybe I should use 3 off this. Assuming 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12. Oh yeah, because I wanted to be a 13 for this, and there's only 12. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. But I could use this other spare header that I've got for this dry lift thing. Now you've got a little jumper in this bag. Which is this thing here. This is a little jumper that's going to make the connection or not. So which way round should that go on? That way. So I solder the little side. So I want to turn this into a 3. Now this is something I had knocking about. You could use what's left over here. I'm not quite doing that yet because I'm too scared to break into this one in case I do need it. But I'm making the assumption that I don't. So I'm just going to cut this off. I happen to have this knocking about. And I'm going to use that. But yeah, use what's spare on here. And this goes in like that. Okay, now this doesn't matter how wobbly this one is, particularly. Oh dear, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Do I tape it? Is this magic tape time again? I don't know. Is that supposed to work? Supposed to probably just do it better. I think the idea is you just do it better than I do it. It's probably the answer. Okay, a bit of tape. That seemed to work. Good. So I'll put my little red thing on. Dry or lift? I don't know, what did it say? What was normal? Normal mode is when your red header is over the top two like that. The other one is dry lift. Don't know what that means yet, we will find out. So moving over to this one that we've already done a bit of. We've already put on the resistors, the diode and the transistors. It says don't do the LED. Okay. The 2 upper potentiometers, the switch and the sockets. Use the panel to make everything line up nicely. You may want to do the sockets 3 at a time. 2 upper potentiometers. Okay, so the 100Ks. I've got these. Are they all the same? 100K, 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 100K. So they're all the same, but they're all different. Alright, what does the picture say? Alright, the picture says the silver ones go at the top, black ones go in the middle. Okay, fine. Fine. So they go 3 legs in. Silver. 3 legs in like that. Then these go in there and there. This is what we're looking for. Now you notice that the black knobs go much lower than the silver ones. I do have a couple of washers, but I don't think those ones are supposed to be screwed on. They just sit there in space, whereas it's these ones that screw on. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. My feeling is I should put the whole lot in. Let's see. So I've got a button that goes in there. That has a screw on it. I've got, this has got 2 screws on it. Wow, that switch doesn't seem to be fitting very well. Take that out of there for the minute. We'll worry about that in a second. Okay, so let's just take these funny bits out. With the sockets down the bottom here, they've all got nuts on. What I don't quite know yet is how that's all going to pan out. Because normally speaking, you use these nuts on the top to hold the front panel on, so they usually have to come off. So I'm going to take those off. Let me try a couple. Let's see what they look like. And you can see there's a little hole there. That's like the guiding hole for the springy one. See the springy one there? That's a guiding hole for that, and then that helps you put the thing in. Hopefully fairly straight. But you know, straightness is a bonus really, as opposed to a necessity. Oops. So how is it going out there with you? If you are building along, I'd love to know how that's going for you. I have absolutely no sense at all of how it's going. Should I be pausing more? Should I be showing more? I don't know. I'm just kind of doing it as seems right to me. Obviously, feedback via the comments is a little bit kind of sort of works, sort of doesn't work. So, by all means try to tell me something and I'll see, or let me know afterwards. Whatever works, Okay, that's good. That looks alright like that. Now obviously I haven't soldered anything yet. What I'm trying to do is just get everything lined up. If I had the switch, just the switch was really difficult to get in. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to solder these bits so they don't keep falling out. So I think that I've got the height right. I think those are good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a nut on up here just to hold it in place. Just lightly. And one down here, either corner. Just holding it all down. The That just should hopefully keep everything together as I solder it all in. We'll be taking the front panel off again in a minute after we've soldered these bits in, yeah? Just check on the people screaming in the what's it. Scroll up before you finish off the pin headers. Well, that was ages ago, wasn't it? Yeah, the switch is hard to get in, but you should do it all at the same time. Well, yes. I mean, the documents already said I should do this in 2 separate goes, and I'm doing all that in 1 go, so it shouldn't really matter, should it? I don't know. While I'm trying to get those in, I felt that if I have these soldered in already, then they're not all going to fall out as I wrestle with that switch. That was my thinking. So let's just get on with it. Woo! Rocking through the solder. Good, good. So now I'll take the front panel off again. Whew. That's all good. See how lovely and straight they are? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right, don't worry about that. So, switch. It's got to go in there. It's got to go for it. Okay. Now, how high is that? I think they've all got to come off. See, that looks right with all of the nuts off. And then this weird thing, this also has nuts and stuff. Now that looks lower, so maybe the washer goes underneath on this one. Let's have a look. There is space under that. What do we think? Washer on top or washer underneath? Because it does have a little bit of space. Maybe I should put the washer underneath. Which was this one. Whoop. Kind of a split ring. Maybe that's a good idea. See, that's now rocking a little bit. Washer in the middle. What does the middle mean? Is that above or below? Dipstick? Washer on top. Well, alright. For the moment, I'm going to leave the washer under the front plate. Just because I'm going to screw this on again a little bit. That's the wrong screw. Just try not to get my screws muddled up. Just to hold it together while I solder those bits in. This might be doing this 3 times too many. I don't know. I'm getting tired now. Oh, come on! Was that the wrong one again? No, that was... No, yes. Don't know. Don't know. I don't know. Got an extra washer. Great. Right, just these 2 middle bits to solder. Oh, look, that's really annoying. Look how sticky outy that is. God, blimey. Sticky outy bits. They're the worst. Everything should be uniform. Everything should be surface mounted. That would make it simpler. And everything could just be controlled in software. You know, I didn't have a look to see whether the switch was important to be one way up or the other. Normally speaking, it doesn't seem to make any difference. Okay, I think that can go underneath, you know. I think that's good like that. But I get the feeling I'm not done yet. Okay. Whoa. I have a slight... Right, the slight downside of this fan blowing across here is that it makes my wrists cold. Ah. Bin the extra washer. Right, scroll up. Da, 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 da. Yeah, right, did that. No, I can't see if there's anything under there. Ba, 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 ba. Calibration procedure, not doing that yet. Hang on. Down here, down here, down here. Okay. Cut the female header strips to the correct lengths so that the black parts stick out of the rear of the PCB. Then we've got to do the LED. We've got to put it all back together again. Right, so take this off then. Good. So that's going to fall off as I mess about, but not worried about it. So these need to go on here, but from underneath. So I need to make, that's an 11, two 11s and a 6. What, and I just cut these with my cutters as well, I guess. I guess I do. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So is that 11 there? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So what there? Just cut it like that. Oh, I don't know. Let me jump. Oh, alright, so a little bit near the knuckle there, I suppose. See, that's fallen out now. Oh, that's just peachy. Oh dear. How else do you do it? Is there a special way? Using a saw or something? Craft knife? Should I be using a craft knife? What are you saying? Table saw. Oh, all right. Well, look. Oh, it's my. Okay, I'm not worried about any of that light over there at the moment. Has it been going on too long? Let me try with my little craft knife. I don't have a table saw, so that was 11. I can do another 11 here on this end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There. That's getting me nowhere. Pull out the next one, then cut. Okay. A Stanley knife. Well, this knife should do, shouldn't it? Oh, I don't know. Okay, look, there's already a 6 in here. Ah, that's interesting. So I don't have to cut off the 6. I'm only trying to cut off 11s because there's already a 6 somehow mysteriously in the box all by itself. Oh, this is weird. So I've attempted to cut there. So what you're saying is you get rid of the one next to it and then you can cut through that much easier. Is that what you're saying? And then you can use the cutters. Right, okay. That would make more sense. So as I've already got a 6, I can make 2 11s out of that. So you've been watching at home how I've been fudging this up. So yeah, Frank, I'm with you. I'm with you, Frank. I think I am. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So number 12 is saying. How do you pull that out? Do you mean just like grabbing hold of it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you can tell that I've been spoilt by kits that have got everything already at the right size. Like that. Okay. I hope I didn't the right number. And then I can cut through there. Like that. Okay, so that's a better 11. Maybe I can do the same here. so that I don't have to use the one that's slightly wonky. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Other ones. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is number 12. Yeah. Don't pull it out, just cut away. Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Woo! That went somewhere. Lovely. Right, so we got the things the right size, I think. The question now becomes, because I had to deal with this today with the sample slicer. Do you solder these on here and then hope it's going to match up, or do you plug them in together and solder it fixed? Yeah, Zackler. Exactly, Zackler. I've learned something new too. It was good. Yeah, I quite like that. So yeah, here's my next question. Do I put them together, put the males on the females, solder them in like that, or do I solder them in separately? What do you reckon on that? I'll give you a few seconds as I sort myself out. So I've got that there, that one there. Plug them in and tape. So when you say plug them in, what do you mean? Plug together. So you're saying I should plug them in like that, solder it fixed. See, you need to be more specific with your use of language. Because I tend to think if I plug it together like that, they are going to fit and it's going to be straight. Imagine you're explaining it to a 4-year-old. Plug them together. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm doing this, right? Okay, good. They're all in. And they're all sticking up. There, and there. All except I haven't done this bit. Doing that bit last of all. So where am I soldering? Soldering there. Married. Is that more sexist crap? Not only have we got male and female flipping bits, but we've got whether they're married or not. Really? Couldn't we just have some female ones living together? It all gets a little bit too much to bear. Now I've got to try not to, best I can, try not to melt anything this time around. Melt anything I shouldn't do. This is all highly unstable, not enjoying it. Okay, rock it with my fingers a little bit. Oh, there's the LED I haven't put in yet. Mustn't forget about that. This is not good because it's not very steady. Good, that was better. Around to this side. Come on. Right, what is causing the trouble here? Bit of everything. And there's a little bit, not much on it. It's better. Okay. John, thanks for sticking around, mate. I appreciate it. This is going on plenty long enough, I think. So don't blame you. Nearly an hour and a half. Well done for sticking it out this long, and to anybody else as well. I mean, there's 114 people watching, which is just crazy nuts. But I really appreciate you spending some time with me. And I think that we're nearly there. We're very nearly there, I think. So I think at this point I'm going to have to put it apart again. Oh! Oh, goodness. Yeah, right. Okay. Well, as long as it goes back together, that's all I care about at the moment. So, LED. Something about an LED. There's an LED in here. Let's get back to the build document. Now with the LED, long lead again is like with the capacitors, the long leg is positive and goes through the square hole on here. Now the important thing is that this needs to be the last thing we do, because it's going to be going into the front panel, because you can't just solder it here, that's no good. It needs to be raised up so it hits the front panel. So I think I'm going to need to solder in this bit first. So this is apparently a thing that does all the effects. What's all this stuff? What's all this? What's all that about? If it's all down to this little fella, I don't know, I've no idea, no clue. So this needs to go in here, one way up or another. I'm not sure which yet, I'll find that out in a minute. And I don't think it sticks out that way. I think it sticks out this way. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? Yes. So I've got to get that in there. Now on the diagram in here it uses one of these headers, but I don't have a long enough header to make that work now because I've cut it up. So I'm not going to use that. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to solder it straight onto the board. Is that daring? God, I'm just like a crazy man. Crazy man I am. That's all we've got to do. Now the components, apparently it goes in that orientation, it sticks out that way. There's a pin 1. Oh look, there's a number 1 there. And there's a square hole. So that must be the way it goes round, like that. I want that to lean nicely out of the way of everything else. I don't want it to lean in, I want it to lean out. How on earth am I going to tackle that then? A bit like that. Something underneath. Is that going to work? No, it's just all going to fall straight over. Oh, that's not too bad. Maybe just go for it. I don't want it leaning in. I want it leaning upright. Let me bring it into shot, otherwise you're going to miss this party, aren't you? Oh, it's gone again. So that's not right. Why are the hard bits right at the end? Oh, that's a bit better. That's relatively straight. I want it bending out slightly, not bending in, because I need to be able to fit two bits together. Are you with me? Are you feeling me? Is all the shock going on in there? Please solder it in the right way around. Yeah, yeah. I think I got it right. I think I got it right. Yeah. So, let's just put one pin in. See whether that's about right. That's pin 1. That's on the square. It's not entirely flat. Does that really matter? Not really, no. So I'm just going to go with that. Come on, this is the home straight now. Oh, I bent me solder. Is it coming to that? Come on. Come on, come on. You can do it. It's a bit blobby, but it's in. See, it's on a bit of a wonk. Look. That's probably going to make the timing of the delay slightly out. You know, just at the far end. Plastic melts. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, don't talk to me about plastic melting. So that leaves us with the LED. The LED. So it goes here, long leg positive, like so. Then we need to put this on so we can present the LED to it. I don't think there's anything else that needs to go on at this point. So we can do the whole lot of the front panel up, I think. Oh, I forgot to put my washer on because it fell off. Washer on there. See, Andrew, you're saying that as if this was difficult. As if you're saying I've made a bit of a meal of it. Problem was I spent too much time chatting. Lost half an hour just doing that. Which neatly deflects everything onto being your fault as opposed to being my fault. So I put the front panel on. I'm putting all the nuts back on. Don't want to put the back panel on yet because I still need to solder that LED, which I'm going to do shortly once I've stopped fiddling with these buggers. Thank you. There we go. Upside down. I mean, it's interesting, really, I suppose, in that I build it as a build along. Like, I'm going to show you how to build a module. That wasn't really kind of what I was meaning to say. I definitely meant it as a, you know, come and let's build it together and let's see what we find. So I wasn't sort of aiming this as an instructional video on how to awesomely solder awesome kits. It was much more a, you know, come on, let's have a go at this thing together. That was the vibe I was going for, and I think that's come across. Pretty sure it has. I don't know that I need that washer. Do I need that washer? Oh, Frequency Central, you're back. Do I need that washer on there? I mean, I guess it stops the front panel from scratching, but it's going to be slightly offset, and that's going to upset me on the nice circle thing. Should that have been underneath? Does it matter? What do you think before I put the rest on? Let me do things on the other things first. The washer keeps the faceplate clean. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, not that one, because that's a nicked one. That's on that other bit. No. Yeah, Frank, it's been a group effort, most certainly. I've learned things. So, do I, is my question at the moment. Do I? Do I put these washers on here? Washer loses it. Yeah, I don't know that that's helpful. Oh, look, that doesn't fit. So what's that from then? Hang on. What? What? What have I got? What have I done wrong there? Have I done? Have I lost my mind? Big nut, big nut. Wasn't I? Didn't I have a third big nut that went over there? Have I lost one? Oh, that's just. God. There it is. Okay, good. Right. Not losing my mind. I think that's one for the other ones. Washers are pretty and shiny. Pot washers are the mark of a builder taking pride in his work. Right, okay. Right, okay. Come on. Final bit now. See, what I don't like about the washers is that you lose the circleness. It encroaches on the circle, so that's it. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Just going with that. Come on. You can go on there. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can go on. Why do you not want to go on? Come on. There we go. I'm pretty sure I don't have to take these off again. Hard luck, Frank. You lose this time. You won with other things. Your help was invaluable this evening. And I wore this shirt for you. Ow. Chorus delay reverb. How interesting. How interesting. Right, so we need to get this LED sorted out, and then we're there. So the LED pokes through the hole there. That's all you got to do. Then we can solder it in. I'm not even going to worry about masking tape in it. I'm just going to try to fit this soldering iron in there and not, hopefully... Oh, my soldering iron's jammed. What? It's never happened before. Crikey, come on. We can do this. Where's my glasses? Oh. So I need to get in here without melting the plastic. Good. Lovely. LED there. Good, good. If I can get into that one. Great. So now it just goes together, and then we go play. Yeah, yeah. I think so. Let me check. Let me check. Oh yeah, got calibration to do. God, blimey. Right. So this goes together. I'm sorry about the wonkiness at that end. I mean, that's just awful. How did I manage to do that? I thought I did that really. I was following all your instructions, guys, and it just didn't seem to match up in the end. See, this is all over the place. Oh dear. Oh no. No, there we go. That's in. That's in. No, it's not in, because we still have that leg to do. So the middle, cut the middle leg off the trimmer. So in order to reach the trimmer, I've got to cut those other two legs off. Damn it. Damn it, we were so close. We were so close. So here, trimmer. That leg goes. That leg goes. Right, now we put it together. Okay, back together again. What are these knobs like? Oh, they've got little screws. Let's find my little screwdriver. That'll do. So I'm all the way to the left anti-clockwise. So I'm going to stick that like that. Screw it on. Good. This one the same. Try to line that up. Make sure that's all the way to the left anti-clockwise. Hold that. Screw it on. Good. It's looking pretty smart at this point, I have to say. Now, calibration. Connect the red probe. I'm going to make an assumption here, right? No, I don't know if it's an assumption. I'm going to ask a question. Does this have to be plugged in to do the calibration? It doesn't actually say, now go and plug it into your rack. What it says is that you connect the red probe of your What's-It to your thing. That ain't working, is it? Oh dear, oh Lord. There's not anything on that that's going to purchase onto that, is there? Oh, I don't know, maybe. Connect the black probe to ground. So where's ground going to be? Do we mean any sort of outside bit? Set your What's-It to read DC voltage. Adjust the trimmer until it reads 4.5. How do I get to the trimmer? Right. So my first question at this point is, to do this calibration, am I supposed to have it plugged into my rack? That's an honest question, because at the moment I'm assuming that I do, because I need to have voltage, so surely it has to be plugged in. Just if it's plugged into your rack, access to this leg is difficult. But so that's the first thing to confirm. Secondly, what do I use for earth? Again, an honest question. I mean, I guess earth is any bit of casing, but is anything particular it'll be worth clipping onto? Should I go on the, for instance, the outside screw thread of, I don't know, it's, you know, these are the questions I ask when I get to this sort of position in calibrating things. This is why calibrating drives me nuts. It's usually, in my experience of modules, the least explained part of the entire build. You've gone through an entire build, spent hours poring over it, trying to work out what each of the bits is and putting them together and soldering, and you're feeling confident, and you get there, then you get to the end, and there's this like Latin at the end that talks in a completely different language about making the thing work, and you go, but what? I spent all that time trying to put this thing together, and now I've got to have an engineering degree just to work out to do the last tiny bit. It can be a bit frustrating. So what you're saying at the minute? Frequency Central says plug it in. Right, and well, in that case I'm going to have to make a few adjustments to the camera. Oh, golly, what is it? 11:15. Let's get this done in the next 15 minutes, yeah? Needs power. Correct. Use a cable and crock onto the earth. Wishbone, cheers. Thanks for staying with me for so long. We need to be plugged in. Solder a piece of wire to the pin. Yeah, no, the Latin, that's awesome. Thank you. So, all right, let me just make a quick camera adjustment so that I can bring this into the rack. I'll swap my battery out for the light. Right, to put that to there. Just going to have to move. Just going to have to move the microphone. So apologies for rattles. Cool. I hope you can all still hear me. Get a bit more light on the subject. Right, so I've got a bit of something going through here, so I was figuring that I would plug it in here, and then we'll have a go and see if I can make something work of it. This calibration business is, you know, is a little bit of a worry, but I'm trying not to worry about it. But I've got to get to this nut here. God, geez. But I've got to power it. Okay, so that's off. I'm going to plug this into here. So the first test is to see whether the thing just makes smoke. So that is that way round. Yeah? You're all with me? You're all with me? So I'm just going to sit this in here for the minute. I'm going to turn it on and see whether anything blows up. Ready? We go. Ah! Okay. Well, nothing happened. And I've got no light flashing, which is a shame. But calibration first, yeah? before we worry about it not actually working at all. Okay, so it's plugged in. I need to get access to this trim pot here. So I'm going to lie it down a bit like this over the top of some Intruso posh modules. I'm going to take a spare cable, plug that into something, because that's going to give me an earth on the shield of this, right? Does that sound right? Where's my end gone? I mean, this is not a multimeter that I bought for this. It's just one that I happen to have knocking around. So I put that on there. That should give me earth, yeah? Please tell me if I'm doing it wrong. Right, I need a little screwdriver. And I need to get this onto that pin. I mean, maybe I can just hold it would be better rather than trying to crocodile clip it. Maybe that's going to work better. Oh my goodness. Right, just check the dock again. Connect the red probe to the middle leg. Connect the black probe to the ground. Set to DC voltage. Did that. 4.5 is what we're after. So if I can put this in here without it blowing up. Let me these are kind of everything's in the way. Right. So on there. Well, there's definitely a voltage. If I can hold myself steady, 2.6. Is that going up? Cool, I've got to have a long old way to go. Oh, haven't I got one of those tools somewhere? It's got like a screwdriver and a shroud. Maybe. How painful is this for you to watch? Ah, come on. Just don't want it to move too much. Then it's just going to work, isn't it? Okay, so that on there. Doobie doobie doodaloo. Dooboo. Doobie-doo. 8.9. That was not what we were after. Okay, we're on to fours. Oh, it's going rocketing up now. 4.33. 4.5. Go with that. That apparently is it. Right, I'm going to turn this off. Unplug it for a minute. Just going to cut off that leg that I was told to cut off. I mean, I don't actually need to. I mean, just in case I've stuffed it all up, I'm going to leave that leg. I'm going to leave the leg as it is. Right, so I have my doubts because I really would have liked to have seen that little light up. That would have made me very happy. That's not necessarily, doesn't necessarily mean it's all screwed. Just perhaps a little bit. So then we can talk about when we thought it all went horribly wrong. So here it all is. Right. It's in. Turn it back on. Get this out of the way. We're up to 128. People have been tuning in from far and wide to find out whether this bloody thing is going to work. So I should have. Let me know if you can hear that. LED in backwards? Could be. Who knows? So, can you hear the noise? Can hear it fine. Okay, good. So, what was I going for? Oh, I went through here. So what I've got to do is put it in between there and there, haven't I? So that's coming out of there, going into there. So I need this input to go into input. And I need to take another cable, which I'm actually not using at the moment. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? I have, oops, sorry. I don't have a spell. Oh, here we go. That'll do. So, left. Well, I assume I can use it in mono. See, I would say that's diddly squat. Let's try delay. Oh, hang on. Well, there we go. I don't think I can do any more. Take the dry wet jumper off. Oh, is that what that is? Where about? All right. See, there's definitely something there. Obviously, there was something that could be heard. You can hear there's a delay going on when I wiggle the wet knob. Something definitely happens. So there's something in there working, but evidently there's something which isn't. So I'm going to have to go back through the soldering and see if there's something that I missed or messed up. But But you reckon I should... Let's just turn it off for a minute. I don't want to do anything stupid. Okay, so that's with that jumper off. And they talked about how it only gives you the wet signal. Is that am I understanding that right? But now I'm just not getting anything. Oh yeah, there's some reverb. Look. Again, when I fiddle with it. Oh. So there's something in here which is not quite right. Evidently. And that's a shame. That's a real shame. I am disappointed, of course, crushed to the point of misery. It's been that sort of day. Like I say, I had troubles with the sample slicer. I've not quite got that together. And now this one. Whereas up to this point, my track record has been pretty much exemplary with every single kit. I mean, obviously, I've put myself in a very tricky situation in trying to do it live-streamed, you know. It seemed like an interesting idea. And now reflecting back upon the last 3 hours that we've spent in doing this thing, I don't know, was that clever? Was it a good idea? Who thought that was a good idea? I don't know. I mean, it was good. It was good. I really enjoyed your company. I really enjoyed the fact that you were there contributing and helping me out as I went along. That was brilliant. I'd love to be able to do that with every build, to have, you know, just people giving me a clue. Sorry about the microphone. Time for a beer? Maybe. Time for a beer and some telly. But I'll have another look at that. I mean, I'll have a look at that tomorrow along with the sample slicer, see if I can get to the bottom of it. There's definitely a signal there. Definitely sound coming through. Definitely a bit of a DSP thing going on. I just need to check back through all the bits and pieces, because it was a weird experience putting it together while other people were watching and contributing, and you're chatting and you're slightly distracted and not completely focused on what you're doing. Yeah. Interesting. Well, I mean, I hope that was interesting. I don't know. I'm just going to keep at it. What else can I do? Come up with these madcap ideas. But thank you so much for spending the time. I mean, that's awesome. Well done. Well done. To go through that and then not even get the money shot at the end. God, that's harsh. But I'll look into it. I'll let you know. So, just to finish off, tomorrow we have Steve from Thonk. I'm sure he'll have some tales to tell of things that didn't work. So I'll have him on at 8 o'clock tomorrow. We'll have a chat about Eurorack, about things, about how all that works, the misery, the pain, as well as those moments of glory. So that's tomorrow, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Then Thursday night, I'm really putting myself out there with the Cosmo thing that I know bugger all about. So that's going to be interesting, trying to work my way through some of that, trying to make some sense of it is my hope, and hopefully do a little bit of soldering. And then Friday night we have the 3PT from Robo, which looks relatively simple, and hopefully that will give us a slightly better result, and maybe I'll be more prepared for it now that I've done one of these and know what the distractions can be. Don't know. Saturday night Dakar stream, and then we'll see where we go from there. So thanks again. Oh look, I did go past 11 o'clock. So yeah, thanks so much for being with me, and I really appreciate the input. Was invaluable. It's a shame it didn't actually get us to a working module, but hey, I'll go back through the chat and see who I can blame the most. It's probably one of those Andrews. They're always trouble. So there we have it. We continue on with this crazy DIY week. Tomorrow it looks like I'm fixing things rather than building another project. But your reward, okay, your reward for being here so long, right to the end, I'm going to show you 2 new modules I've got coming up. Oh, which I'm not going to look at until next week because I don't have time this week. These are not kits, these are actual modules. I've got this. Now, you've heard me talk about this a long, long time, and now I have one. Yes, I do. It's the Sonic stochastic noise tune maker thing, melody generator. Awesome. Awesome. Looking forward to giving that a go. So there's that. Special preview tonight. No one else has seen that, at least not from me. And the other one is this baby here. Look at that. Erica Synths Black Sequencer. Ho, ho, ho. Now this one I don't believe is quite released yet. So getting this one a bit ahead of the curve. Those knobs are really interesting. So again, I'll have a look at that next week. Lots to do. It never ends. It never ends. What have I let myself in for? I wonder that often. But I keep at it. So there you go. A couple of little things I'm going to have a look at next week. So look out for those. But at the moment, we're all about making kits. And we're all about troubleshooting. Tomorrow is going to be my plan. Maybe Steve can help in the evening. Who knows? But I'll get to the bottom of it. I will. I'll get to the bottom of it, I'm sure. And then we'll have some fun with it. So there you go. The Frequency Central Stasis Leak. Wasn't a difficult build particularly. It was interesting. Yeah. It was a different layout to what I've been done to what I've done in the past. And so, yeah, that made things interesting. The manual, as I say, was... had enough photos. Awesome. Love photos in manuals. That was fantastic. That was extraordinarily helpful. In fact, you can just build the whole thing on a photo most of the time. Other bits of detail were not as detailed as I'd like, but we got through it. We got through enough, I think, to put everything in the right place. It's just going to be down to my soldering, and maybe I've got something, a wire cross somewhere or something not soldered as well as it should be. I will check into all of that tomorrow. It did calibrate though, didn't it? So the voltage was getting through in at least one place, in the right place. So yeah, interesting. So thanks for that. Thanks to Thonk for sending me the module. That's very kind of them. I have more Frequency Central modules to build as well. I don't think Mr. Frequency Central knows that. I've got their big one, the product thing. Yeah, I'm going to do a video on that in a few weeks. So that'll be fun. But it's a shame it didn't work. But that's nothing really to do with the kit. That's going to be an error of mine in there somewhere. So that's great. Hopefully see you tomorrow with Steve from Thonk. If not, later in the week. If not, at some other point. And in the meantime, go make some tunes. Thanks again for staying with me. I'll find the button to let us out so we can all go home. Oh dear.